We're live.
Hello, guys. Today we are live. I'm with Dmitry from PNW. It's a mover company out in Seattle, Washington. These guys are great. They helped me out doing things, and he found me basically through YouTube, and then I asked him to help me when I did a move out there in Seattle. Dmitry, how you doing today?
Good, great. How's everything over there in Michigan?
Well, we got some of that fine Seattle sunshine happening right now.
That's good.
It's raining cats and dogs. Okay, good. So you asked to do this. You asked for us to do this live little show here and to do this back and forth. So I'm going to leave it to you. What do you want to talk about?
So basically, my thought was on this is since you were in Seattle, we didn't really have a chance to sit down and have a cup of coffee.
Right.
So this is kind of the way we will do it now.
Okay. Okay, good. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you a couple questions. How did you get started in the moving business?
I was 16. My father opened a moving company, and I was the bigger guy. Kind of for a 16-year-old, I was more chubby and big. So I started just working there. And my dad stayed open for about a year and a half, and then he closed down because it was too much paperwork, too much hassle for him. And he just closed it down. He had a carpet cleaning company, and he still does. He just focused on that one for now.
Okay. So then you just took over the moving business from him?
Not necessarily. I went to college. I was 17, 18, trying to go the college route. And I was on the side just doing packing all the time, packing. And me and my brother just got a hang of it. And we just had a bunch of fun doing that. So then we decided about a year ago and a half, when I decided to get married, you got to get serious now, right?
Okay, good.
So I decided to fully open the movie company. In August, I bought the moving truck, that yellow one. I don't think you've seen it, but
right,
it's a 16-foot truck that I have.
Right. Yep.
Which next year I plan to expand to a 26-foot truck.
Okay, good. So now you've got a 26-foot truck.
No, I'm planning to.
Planning that to. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just rent the way that you told us how to rent, basically the best way, and that's how I do it right now. 26.
Is that truck. Working out for you the way I instruct you to rent a truck? Is that doing good for you?
Yes, it is, because it's basically 130 is 1 hour worth of how much I'm charging for 3 guys on a 26-foot truck.
Right.
130 is basically covers the truck for the whole day. That's the average cost to rent a truck for me. And
right.
I prefer to rent
that you could book in a day. The more profit you make, and the less that cost is for a truck. So if you only got one job, then it's a bit expensive. But if you got 2 or even 3, you're spreading the cost of the truck over those 3 jobs.
Yes, but one thing I noticed is I prefer to rent the large 26-footers, not like the U-Haul ones.
Yeah.
Because the presentation, it looks a lot better. Especially
exactly.
Enterprise, they don't have anything wrapping on them.
Right.
So I just prefer having a clean truck, and I just come in and as if it was mine. On the website that I redid my website basically, that's why I went silent for like 2 weeks.
Oh, okay.
We were working on the website and all that stuff like that. So on the website, you'll see a 26-foot truck. I did not have that moving truck. I rented it.
Okay.
Put stickers on it. Spent $400 just getting the stickers on it.
And then took the stickers off after the
yep. It was like I rented the truck for the whole week. So because I needed it was in the middle of the summer when you really need those trucks. Right. So I rented it for a week, and then it was awesome. Customers like, oh wow, you have a nice truck. It's new, everything new, white, shining. But it's not mine. I'm planning to probably go the how's it called, a used route.
Okay.
We'll go to Enterprise, get one from them, from used lot.
Yeah, that's a great idea. You get a used truck through Enterprise or Penske. Getting a used one through Budget, kind of sketchy. U-Haul, believe it or not, that's kind of sketchy. But I tell you what, they're so easy to maintain. The parts are so easy to get, and someone to work on them is easy because they're not a diesel engine; they're a gas engine. So finding a mechanic for an old U-Haul is actually very advantageous as well, even though it's an old U-Haul. So
yeah, but if you do get a 26-foot truck, let's say the worst case scenario, you'll have to swap the engine. That's only $11,000, and you have a basically working transmission and an engine that will work for the next 5 years.
Exactly.
Return on the investment there.
Right. Exactly. Okay, good. So do you still have the two guys that were with you that one day that were helping us unload? Do you
Yes,
still
they
have
are.
those? Are those still
Yeah.
with you guys?
Yep, they are.
Because that new guy, the young kid, is he getting beefier? Is he getting stronger?
It takes time for them. They're so, you know how the right now Instagram phase everywhere, they're trying to get bigger and bigger kind of thing.
Okay.
And everything like that. But the other guy that was with me, he started at, I believe, at 180 pounds, but he was already pretty good.
Right.
So, but he's like, oh, I'm already at 200 pounds in the summer. And he worked. But one thing about those, you call them gym rats,
Yeah.
is they cannot work without food. They need to eat food like crazy.
Constantly be eating.
Yeah, so they don't have energy. I can go work basically 2 moves and I won't eat, but they need to eat like every 3-4 hours.
Right.
It's like a constant source of food.
Yeah, I find something similar with my guys, and I actually provide them with. I have like a fridge here in my office where I provide them water, and I provide them. Sometimes I have Mountain Dews and stuff like that. Maybe you could do something along the similar lines where like you'd go and buy some of their favorite of like protein bar snacks or whatever and have it there. Say, hey, before you go on the move, take a couple of these protein bars so that you don't have to eat. You could just eat the protein bar and go kind of thing.
One of them learned his lesson by just taking a big lunchbox and with carbs, good carbs he calls them, rice, and he would just eat rice in the truck when he has a chance. So that made it easier.
Right.
But we do provide water and everything like that for them.
Right. I just thought of a video that I need to do, so I'm going to write that down. But we'll continue talking.
Yeah. How about you? When did you realize that you were serious about opening and creating a company?
I've always wanted to have my own business. Being a mover or having a moving company wasn't really on the radar necessarily, but it was. I always wanted to have a business. I didn't care what kind of business really. I didn't really have that in my thoughts and my vision. I just wanted to own a business. And then one day I got a job working for a mover real quick. His company was called Reliable Moving, which is a silly name because everybody and their brother wants to be called Reliable Movers. So it wasn't something that was hugely brandable or anything like that. And I worked for him for like 3 weeks, 3-4 weeks, and the guy just wouldn't pay me. And I kept saying, hey, dude, I need to get paid. I need to get paid. In the meantime, I was like, watching what he was doing, and I tried to offer him because I knew about social media, I knew about SEO, I knew about how to do websites. I was trying to offer him, hey, dude, I can really help you get more jobs. And that was out of selfishness because I wanted to work more. This guy was working me like once a week if I got lucky. And this was in the summertime. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like the summertime, you should be having like 4, 5, 6 jobs in the week. And I wasn't. I was getting 1 or 2 jobs. And so I was like, dude, just out of selfishness, I wanted to work a little bit more. So I said, screw this guy. I saw what he did. I learned a thing, and I was like, I know about marketing. I know about sales. This shouldn't be hard. So I said, screw him. Started doing. I went and did my. I put an ad on Craigslist. Literally 10 minutes later, I had my very first job, and I've been going ever since and learning as I'm going. I didn't know anything about the moving industry. I didn't know about you're supposed to be licensed and insured or, Yeah. So I worked for the first couple of years. I was a rogue mover because I didn't know any better. Shit, I just put an ad up on the Craigslist and started going. And I did my own websites. I started doing SEO. And I started getting more and more jobs. I think the very first year I started in July of 2008. This is July of 2008. I started the company. By that January, I had already earned like $36,000 just in that 6-month period.
Yeah, that was the period that I noticed Craigslist really worked. Now it's dying off. It's going down. But it was a period when you could definitely post an ad and someone would call you between an hour. And especially if you figured out how to do the big images.
Right. Yeah. Well, back then too. I mean, when I first started doing thing, you could put videos on Craigslist.
Yeah.
You could do everything, and so I did everything I could to stand out. You know, so I would have this flip cameras, they called it. It's sort of like a GoPro today.
Yeah.
And when we do a move, I would go and I would collect the money, and then I would get a testimonial, like 30-second, 1-minute testimonial from the customers that we just moved. And then I would go and download that, put it up on YouTube, and then I would take that video and put it on Craigslist. And nobody else, no other mover in my area and across the country was doing that. There was one other company in Canada that was doing testimonial videos, but they weren't putting them on Craigslist. They weren't doing anything but putting them on YouTube. Me, I just started putting them everywhere and anywhere I could. And that really is what I think set me apart from all the other companies, especially the big guys, because we have 2 men in a truck. Their home base is right here in Lansing. And, you know, I started on fire, and people were like, what the heck is he doing? You know, and they didn't realize I just hustled. I hustled. I put, you know, I called people on the phone. I took flyers, homemade flyers that I did, and went to Kinko's and printed them off. And I went and dropped them off at apartment buildings. Storage units, you know, I went to real estate offices and dumped off flyers, you know, whatever I could do to create a buzz, to create enthusiasm for my, you know, back then social media wasn't as much as it is today.
Yeah.
But, and I think movers, I think entrepreneurs today actually have an easier time with doing promotion and marketing than I did, or some of the companies that started 20 years ago that didn't have hardly the internet at all. So I just think it's, you know, it's just, if you hustle and you're willing to learn, the sky's the limit. You don't have to have a huge marketing or advertising budget.
Yeah, but I also noticed that there's paralysis analysis kind of thing. There's too much sources of marketing you can do, and you just can paralyze with it.
What's that? Say that again.
So you know how paralysis by analysis, when you have too many sources of advertising, you don't know which one actually to go for, and you go for none. That's
right, exactly.
Sometimes. So, yeah, but for me personally, I'm focusing on the movingleads.com through them, and then Yelp for me right now. That's the
Yelp.
two.
How's Yelp doing?
It was doing good in the summer. It's kind of slowed down in the winter, so that's to be as expected. But it's, I would say it's pretty good for $300. I believe that's how much I'm spending right now.
300? Wow,
yeah.
You got it cheap, because I know they quoted me close to like almost $500 a month, and I'm not in a city anywhere close to the size of you.
Yeah. So, what were you quoted for? Impressions or?
I think it was. I can't remember. It was like they would actually send me leads. So someone went movers in Lansing area, for instance. I think my thing would show up first on the advertising, but I'd also get that lead. Like they would send that to me and said, "Hey, Joe Blow was looking for a mover in Lansing," you know, and give me the email address and stuff. So,
yeah, I don't know about that, because I did have actually for my father's moving carpeting company. Actually, sorry, we spent about $1,500 in one summer. It was like summer of 2011 or 12. We got just one customer out of that one, and they were basically $100 customers. So we spent $1,600 getting that customer.
To get a $100 customer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why I had a hesitation for Yelp. I'm guessing, let me see. I think I started off with them and back up in October, kind of. I was just like, let's do just a test trial, and because it's $300, I can just manage that if I don't get anything.
Right.
So,
but I did that too, and I did that with Angie's List, and you know, I'm always testing out different advertising models, and I really try to give it like a 3-month window to see how it's working out. You know what I mean? Yeah. And like you, that's one reason why I don't do Yelp, is because the ROI I found wasn't there. You know, the amount of leads that I was getting that were actually useful, that I was selling, was piss poor. and so our return on investment wasn't there. So I dumped them. Now that the return on investment might have been better if I were a better salesman. That could have been part of the problem, but it is what it is. You got to put your money is. I'd rather go for low hanging fruit and just hump on that and just milk that till it's dry. Personally.
Okay. So what did you think of Angie's List, actually?
Angie's List, I think, is a very beneficial, but you have to have a lot of reviews. And the problem with it is not now, because now anybody can leave a review and it shows up. But before, it was only members could leave a review that would show up. And so I never got any jobs from Angie's List members. And nobody wanted to be a member of Angie's List. So because they were pretty expensive, it was like $50-$60 a year or something, or $100 a year or something weird like that. Who wants to spend that money for something they're only going to use once or twice, maybe? You know what I mean?
It's just I had a customer that tried to, or just wanted an estimate from moving leads through postcard. And then they're like, are you on Angie's List? I'm like, I'm not spending money to get on Angie's List. And how do you explain that to the customer so it doesn't seem like I'm a rogue or that I'm actually legit, but it's just I'm not focusing my money on Angie's List.
And that's a good question. And how I would have handled it, I've got a profile on Angie's List. You can go and leave me a review. And which is true, because you can put your profile on Angie's List. You're just not a member of it. So
yeah, it's just one time Angie's List calls me up, and I know one of the rogue movers. I kind of worked with him a little bit before everything started for me. Right. And they're like, yeah, he's on here. He's doing good. And I'm like, did you guys check him? Because he is not actually that great of a mover.
Right.
So it was kind of like, what the heck is this? And then I'm like, screw you. I'm not going to do it for now.
Right.
Type of thing.
Now, you just mentioned something that you were doing some postcards.
Yes.
And you and we had talked about that previously a couple months ago. How's that going for you?
For me, I'm basically, let's see, when did I start it? I have all the information. I started in September, so I've only gotten 2 customers. But the 2 customers are, one house is a $3.5 million house.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but they don't need everything moved. There's just a portion of it. And then another one that's going to be in Seattle, which is their homes are overpriced. But it's a job to 105 miles away from the origin to there. So right. I wouldn't be able to get it without there. But other than that, I haven't really seen much return on it. But with how much I'm spending, that's a good return at the moment. I'm hoping in 3 months, kind of like the one issue I did was I priced my houses from top to bottom when I should have done from bottom to top, like 300,000 and higher, but it's going 6 million and down. So those houses don't move as quick as the other ones.
Right.
So like a $7 million house, there's only a few customers for it, so it takes a year to sell it.
Right. Now, see, I limit the houses that I send to at $100,000 or above. Anything below, I don't send them a postcard. I don't get a lot of jobs from the postcards, but the jobs I get from the postcards tend to be very high paying jobs.
Yeah.
So the return on investment is huge. So, even if I got 2 jobs from the postcards, I might spend $1,000 a month on postcards, but one job will probably gross me about $3,000 on average. So I think it's worth it.
I'm spending $330 a month on postcards, so it's pretty good for me. So that's there, and hopefully
you're going to everybody's house, right?
No, I'm going to anyone that has a $300,000 worth house and higher.
Okay, so, $300,000 house or higher. But it's now, are you doing through the MLS, multiple listing service, real estate multiple listing service, or is it you're just sending in a direct mailer to anybody that has a house?
No, I'm going to through Jennifer from movingleads.com.
Oh, good, excellent,
yeah,
excellent.
Yeah.
Good.
So that's how I'm doing it.
Great people, isn't she?
I haven't had much interaction. I just called her up. She told me that this might be the issue. Let's try that, and that's pretty much it. So I didn't have much interaction there.
Okay, good. Did you tell her I sent you?
She was kind of busy to even.
What's that?
I think she was busy because I called first time, no one picked up, and then she calls me back kind of quickly and just went back on whatever they were doing.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I talked to her. I talked to her quite a bit, and so I know that a lot of people have called her. So, it's okay. It's not like I needed that credit or anything. Then no, just kidding.
I'll email her back and say that.
Not a problem. It's just no big. It's no big deal. Okay, now when you were talking last, and I wanted to see it, but you didn't bring me. You said you were doing these like little kits that you were giving to people.
Yeah, so I don't have any here because I left them in my car, kind of thing. But it was just a small box that I got from Uline. The boxes came out to the whole thing in the box came out like $8, so it's much more expensive. But with the results that I got was I dropped it off at 10 houses, and 2 of them got called me out and had an estimate. Which I didn't close on any of them, but if I pushed it harder, it was a summer, so it's kind of like you get too much and you don't have time to close it. Right. So if I tried calling out, outreaching, and creating a better customer experience, like right now I'm focusing on that too.
Right. Yes.
So if I did that, I would have most likely got them. But in the box, there's 5 pages, you know, those stickers that you say bedroom, kitchen. Yep. There's 5 sheets of those papers, then a flyer of my moving company, and then a tape, Sharpie.
A roll of tape?
Yeah, a roll of tape, Sharpie, and a box cutter.
Okay. So it's a box with some of those stickers, a thing of tape, a box cutter, a Sharpie, and then your promotion.
Yes.
Okay, and it's a regular box that's unbranded that you got from Uline.
Yeah, it was a smaller box just so it would fit. It would be like kind of like this iPad box size of a regular iPad. So that's kind of just big enough so the tape can fit in there.
Okay, good. All right, good. And who did you give those to?
I just sat through Zillow, searched up everyone that was in my area, and then I just took it to 10 homes to test this out, and it worked well. It's just I don't know. I started back up again because it's winter right now, so we're just doing that again. But another moving company I forgot right now what it's called. I'll search it up and I'll probably. I was listening to a podcast. There's on Apple. There's only 2 podcasts that actually mention about a moving company, like a moving company is getting interviewed, and one of them mentioned that so they took just regular boxes and put their sticker and or flyer on it. We know you'll be moving soon. Just consider us, and boom, and they left this around the town. So I just kind of went a little bit above that and created a box like that. But I think that would actually work really well too. And then it would be like $1 cost of it, and then the gas for it. Right.
I mean, you sometimes, you know, the old adage, it takes money to make money. It is true. And sometimes thinking outside the box is really cool. And I'm a big believer of hustle. I'm a big believer of doing the things that the other movers aren't doing. You know what I'm saying? And I like your idea. What I would do to improve upon it is, like I said, I'd get a sticker. I'd have some stickers made up with your logo, slap it on the box, on the outside of the box with your kit. Yes, I like the idea of you filling out, finding everybody on Zillow and going to those homes and dropping them off. But I think another thing that you could really do is anybody you see that has a for sale sign on the front of the lawn, you drop it off there at their home. Another thing that I think would be really cool is during the summertime, the winter times are not going to be so much, but go through the listings like Craigslist and so on and so forth, the classified ads, and anybody that's holding a moving sale, and go to their place and then, buy something cheap, like something for $1, maybe a book or something that you like. Buy a book and say, hey, by the way, just if you're interested, I own a moving company. Here's a packet. Maybe this will be beneficial. This will be helpful for you. And then drop off the box to them. I did something like that myself a couple times this year, and both times I did it twice. just to test it out, just to see how it would go. Both times the homeowner called me in to do an estimate. I closed one of the jobs.
Oh, okay, yeah. It makes sense and all, but it's just I'm thinking, since I'm in the Seattle Tacoma area, we have much more people to go through. And,
but it's a matter of hustle, you know. And sometimes, I'm a much smaller area, so it's a little easier. But sometimes, especially in the wintertime when we don't have as much work as normal, this is the time to start really pushing that marketing out.
So in the wintertime, you have moving sales too in Michigan?
No, not moving sales, but people are still putting houses up for sale. They're still you can still check the houses on Zillow and all the other real estate things. What I'm really doing now is I'm concentrating on Instagram marketing right now, which also goes into my Facebook and Twitter as well. And I'm having some moderate success with it. I'm getting a lot of people actually going, checking out my profile on Instagram and going from Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube to my website, which I'm noticing an increase in that. So I'm starting to increase on that. So that's what I'm working on a little bit. But I like your idea. I think I'm going to try that out. I never did it with a box kit before. I just went out there with some, rack cards, like a brochure size cards, and handed those out. So I like your idea. I'm going to test that out this winter and see how that works out for me.
Yeah, I'll include the the podcast too. What I listened to that had it, the whole thing. It was like a 30-minute podcast.
Right.
There's only like 2 of them on there, so you can easily listen to it.
Okay.
Oh, what were we just talking about? I had a question regarding that, but I forgot.
Instagram.
Instagram. So one thing I noticed, for me, I kind of did the same thing. I'm starting my Instagram once you made the YouTube video, and I'm kind of like trying to get back into it.
Yeah.
For like Gary Vee says, he says, go and people who don't have enough, like just one like, go like their page, and they'll like your kind of back and get more people to know around you. I did that, and then I did I spent just $5 2 days to see how much impressions, or not impressions. I wasn't paying for impressions. It's just learn about moving, and I spent like $5, and I got kind of 0 interaction. But doing it the other way of just going and liking people's pages, especially if they're real estate agents, and you see they only have one like it, and they follow you back, kind of thing. It's just, so it's like 5 minutes of that, you get one like one follower, one like back, and it turned out to be good for now.
Well, it's a marathon. It's not a sprint.
Yeah.
Right. And that's what I'm finding about the Instagram. I'm getting, I'm mixing my content. Not all of my content is salesy. Sometimes it's just I take a picture. Like I'm doing this black and white challenge, where you take a black and white photo every day, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm doing that. And I think I did one the other day on where there's some train tracks near me, right? Yeah. And I just took a picture of the train track, right? And it's literally, I walked right down there and took a picture of it. I've had like 12 people like it and like 3 people comment on it. And it is getting people interested in me personally. And I'm doing a lot of that. I'm doing photos of me networking and stuff like that. So I'm creating interest, and and when I take a picture of somebody, I tag them. So not only am I doing my hashtags and stuff, I'm going at Joe Blow. Now all of Joe Blow's followers see that, and now they get interested in like, oh, what's this all about, right? And I'm just noticing that a lot of people are coming to my Facebook page, are coming from Facebook, from YouTube, from Instagram, going to my website, my moving website. It is creating buzz. I haven't seen any direct ROI yet from it, but I think it's a long game. It's it's a marathon and not a race.
Yeah. So if you have a chance to listen to MFCO again,
sure.
On the latest episode, I think he did social media, and he talked about 3 things that social media to do for other people is it has to be educational, entertaining, and uplifting. I forgot what the word he used for that, kind
Yeah.
of like motivational to uplift
Right.
them. And he talks about how to do it better. So if you have a chance to listen to that, I'm kind of trying to work on that myself right now after listening to him. But he explains pretty well that you do need to write a good story to it, and that's kind of important about it. It's not just posting a picture and saying this is it, like this is my car. You got to get the story of this is the car that I got when it made me feel like this kind of thing, and then go from there.
Exactly. I fully 100% agree. And I've been doing that. You got to give the story. You got to make it emotionally relative and relatable. It doesn't have to pull on the heartstrings, but it just has to be something that's going to go, oh yeah, you know. And sometimes just a picture is, or you're saying, hey, I'm attending this great event and all these people are there, and hey, look at this new guy I met today, new friends, and boom, you know. And then people start commenting. But you gotta mix it up. You gotta do the Gary V jab, 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 right hook mix, in my opinion, where you give a bunch of content, useful, valuable content, or whatever, uplifting, encouraging content, and then you come in with a meme about your moving company and says, hey, you know, and pops, you know what I mean? And I like Instagram because Instagram tells you when the people are active and actually looking at your photos. So if you go to later.com, you could schedule your business memes at the times that people are normally looking at your stuff, right? And it does impinge.
Yep. Let's talk about customer experience.
I'm doing Instagram right now as we speak.
Yeah. Okay. Let's do customer experience. Talk about that a little bit.
Sure. Go ahead.
So how does your company work when the customer books? What do they expect, or do you bring up their expectations? What happens on the moving date that they actually have the movie requested, and what happens there? And then after once you guys leave, what happens next? Do you have any procedures for that, or like something like that?
I don't really understand your question. What are you trying to get at here?
So the reason I'm kind of focusing on that at the moment is, you know, the company 1-800-GOT-JUNK?
Yes.
So I listened to an interview with the CEO or the owner who created it.
Yeah.
And he's saying that it's more important of the customer experience, what the customer, what to make the customer feel when you're doing the job, more than the job is done. Or the job has to be done, but it's more of how you make them feel in all this time.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay.
So kind of like right now I'm working on this is when the customer calls me and they schedule a move through the phone, they get 3 following emails with the quote, with the welcome email, and then what to expect and how to log into the back end of our website, and they can change anything on the move. If they need to, let's say, change the time, or they need to add another service, they can all do that just to their website that we have. And then on the website, we have information regarding if they need to purchase boxes from us, or they need to learn how to pack something. We have a few videos in there, kind of thing, that we're working on to create. And then if they need to change their address, we show them the postal service that changes the address, and you know how the 90 days to get the address change you have, and stuff like that.
That's very brilliant. I unfortunately am not doing stuff of that caliber, and I want to get to that point. And I am working on a website that will do something very similar, but not necessarily like. So you're just as busy as I am. So I'm not. I like that idea. I don't. My website's not set up for that, but I do try to. You know, really help especially when they're on the phone with me, answer all their questions. I try to let them know that I'm here no matter whether they use me or not. And then, unfortunately, my after we get the job, my follow-up after the job is done is very piss poor. And I really need to start improving on that. And that is definitely an area of my business that I need to improve on. And I'm working to do that. But, you know, no excuses. It's just, you know, honestly, that's something I do need to improve on. So,
how about also on the for another thing in the whole, it's kind of more of a software that I actually decided to implement this year, this last 2 months into the company. So it's Aramco called, if you have a chance to search it up, and if you wanted to, to search it up. But the point is, 5 days before the moving date, it sends out an email saying if everything's going good, if you need to change the date or anything like that. And then following the day before, we have a 1 hour time frame window when we show up in the morning. And then if it's an the evening job, it's a 3 hour frame.
Okay.
So 30 minutes before, someone will call them and confirm actually everything's confirmed. They're just calling to say the exact time they'll be arriving. And then from there, it's kind of like, I was thinking to discuss, what do you tell your guys, or how do you train them guys to go into the house? And then after they get into the house, what they start with, kind of thing. Do they wrap everything in there and then to carry it out, or carry it out and then wrap it in the truck and stuff like that?
Right. Well, that's a good thing. We do try to call our customers before we're like a day. I'll try to call them up like the day before, just to confirm and answer any of the following questions. By the way, I'm going to have to end here in about 5-10 minutes. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But anyway, I do try to give them a call ahead of time and let them know that we're coming out. And then how I train my guys, it really depends whether it's local or long distance. If it's local, I train my guys to go in and do a complete walkthrough with the homeowner to make sure that they know exactly what they're supposed to take. Because sometimes some homeowners, we don't want to take this, and we want to take this, but we don't want to take that, so that everybody knows what they're supposed to take, what they're not supposed to take. And they go through the house. And then after that, they start get going. We don't really do blankets until the stuff for local moves, until the truck is the stuff is on the truck, because it's hard to move with blankets on it sometimes. Especially you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, but do you shrink wrap the blankets, or do you tape them on?
We do not use shrink wrap. I hate shrink wrap. If I could get rid of shrink wrap, I would. We use the professional rubber bands.
Yeah, the rubber bands, but they don't cover as much surface. That's the thing about.
They don't cover, but if you know how to use them, you can get the entire piece. Even a large couch can be used. It's just a matter of knowing how to do it and being creative. And there's a lot of YouTube videos that will teach you how to do it. And it makes the job faster and a lot easier.
Just one thing I noticed of wrapping it in the truck, personally, we don't do it. We try to stay away from that unless it's a small item that can be carried out, is when something's wrapped and they hit a wall, it's not as much damage, or there's no damage in there on the furniture or on the wall. But if you wrap it in the truck, you can wrap it. I mean,
I agree with you 100%. There's pluses and there's minuses for it. I find that when you blanket it up, it's sometimes, especially the larger, more bulky items, it's really hard to get a handhold that you really need, versus if it's unwrapped, you can usually get those small crevices with your fingers and be able to pick up and lift with it. So yeah, I think that's fine. Now for long distance moves, I like to have the guys wrap the stuff while it's still in the house. And take the time to actually get it right. For the local moves, it's about speed as well as quality, but really about the speed, because these guys are hiring us by the hour. So if we're spending an hour just wrapping all the furniture and everything, they tend to get a little upset about that. So it's about, okay, good, put it up there, put some blankets on it, get it going, move.
I found the opposite, actually.
Really?
People love it when you do it. For example, a statistic that I found is 55% of consumers would pay more for a better customer experience. So for me, I personally think that that's kind of where I'm targeting to, because I did notice something about the Craigslist jobs and the difference between the jobs that I go out and talk to the customers. They care about their stuff. On the Craigslist job, if you take a dump truck and load it up and move it to them, they'll be happy with that.
Right.
Most of the time.
Well, that is something I'll look into. I appreciate that. And yeah, definitely send me, if you got some good, podcasts or people to listen to, I'm more than welcome to listen to them, because I'm just a guy that has created a business starting literally with zero money twice. The second time I was homeless and restarted the business, and, I've come up to a certain level. I'm now at a certain level. So if I can get to the next level, awesome. But you know what? It's just about hustle for me. So I tell you what I want to do. I'd love to do this again with you sometime, maybe next week or next month, whenever you're free, and you know, let's do a little bit, maybe even take a little bit longer time. How do you feel about that?
Sounds good to me. I would definitely do that. We would, if we can even get a third person in the conversation, that would be even awesome too.
Yeah, I think we could do some roundtable chats. Like I'll get into the group and ask somebody, and then we can set up some times. You know, maybe in the evenings or something when it's slow or something. We could do some roundtables. How about that?
Definitely.
All right, guys, I got to go because I got a live podcast on my Facebook page. Hopefully you'll tune in for that. But guys, thank you so much. That was Dmitry from Seattle. We're going to leave. He's going to give me his information. I'll put it in the description of this video. And feel free to, if you're in the Seattle area and you need a hot, talented young mover that'll just get it done for you, you can see that he's into the thing. Please go and talk to Dmitry. Give him a call. Send him he's on. I'm sure you got Instagram and Twitter and Facebook and all that good stuff, right?
Yes, I do.
Okay, good. So we'll make sure that we leave those links in the description for this video. Guys, thank you so much. If you liked the video, if this was helpful for you, give us a thumbs up. Yay! Make sure you share this with all your family and friends. And by all means, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Guys, I love you. I thank you for you. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
You too.